I'm Sarah Galashan in Vancouver. 3 days into a massive power outage in southern Ontario, and tens of thousands still in the dark following last weekend's ice storm. And as temperatures continue to drop well below freezing, staying warm is proven dangerous, even deadly. Carbon monoxide poison is being blamed for the death of a man and his 72-year-old mother. That's after police found a generator running in their garage. They were attempting to keep their house warm. Firefighters have received dozens of calls about carbon monoxide. That has Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne urging people to stay safe.
I'd also like to ask everyone to exercise their utmost caution and to heed the advice of safety officials. The people on the ground doing the work really do know what is in our best interests, and so I'd ask everyone to do as they ask. I know that people are trying to stay warm, but please be careful and do not put yourselves at risk. There are warming centres open across the province, and I encourage you to visit these if you need shelter from the cold. And I've visited a number of these warming centres now, and some people are going just during the day to warm up and then going home. Some people are staying overnight, but they are there for you to use as you choose.
Joining me now to talk a little more about this is Stephen D'Souza, who's in downtown Toronto outside of a fire station. Stephen, what more can you tell us about these deaths?
Well, the two deaths in Newcastle really show just how dangerous carbon monoxide can be, because in the case, fire officials say that they actually had a generator inside their garage and that there was no real connection between the garage and or there was no ventilation between the garage and the house, but somehow the carbon monoxide fumes seeped in, so that's what caused the deaths in that case. As we're finding here in the city, that as it gets colder, people are getting more and more desperate, trying to improvise ways to stay warm, and what we're finding is people are bringing inside generators as well as barbecues inside to their homes to try to heat them, and the fire officials say that simply is unsafe to do and not a good idea. They're seeing, since the storm started, a rise in calls 7 times that usually that they have in terms of carbon monoxide calls. Our cameras were out last night and we saw a number of cases where people were using barbecues inside to try and stay warm using charcoal briquettes. A number of people treated for carbon monoxide inhalation. And then today I was out and managed to catch up with one family that were very lucky, where the father used a barbecue inside as well. Let's hear from them.
My daughter and my son and my mom, yeah, they get so sick, they can't breathe, you know.
My dad used barbecue charcoal to heat up the house, and there was a lot of carbon monoxide, and that messed me up and I had to go to the hospital.
Stephen, the Toronto Fire Department has a very stern warning for anyone who is considering any of these options to stay warm. I want to play a little bit of that warning.
They're, using, candles. I've heard barbecues where they're using, charcoal briquettes, generators that are running, gasoline-powered generators. You've got fumes. People are using these in the house. I've never seen anything like it. I don't understand it. It's just not a safe practice. I mean, the city has provided warming centers. They're doing, more than what's, adequate, I would say. So people should just make use of them. It's far safer.
So, Stephen, what do people need to know if they are concerned about CO2?
Well, one of the things the fire chief also mentioned was that this is really a silent killer, and that this is something you can smell or see or taste, that is carbon monoxide gas, and so people should be aware of what the symptoms are. Early symptoms are very much like the flu. You get nausea, dizziness, headaches, so you should be aware of that as well. People should just simply not burn anything inside their homes, no matter how well ventilated they are. What they should do is make sure that they have full batteries in their carbon monoxide detectors and make sure those are fully charged. So if they do feel any of those symptoms or are thinking that perhaps they could be suffering from carbon monoxide inhalation, they should call 911 right away. And basically the message from Toronto Fire as well as other emergency services in the City of Toronto is go to one of the community centres, go to one of the stations that have been set up for people to stay warm that can provide a bed and some food. Of course, this being Christmas Eve, this is not what people imagined their Christmas Eve was going to be like, but when it comes to staying warm or facing the chance of being poisoned by carbon monoxide, the choice is a pretty easy one.
Indeed. Thanks, Stephen.
You're welcome.